Hello there, and welcome to my energy forecast for this week, beginning the 18th of January 2020. And this week again, I've decided to pull a card, or three cards actually, for us with the Voyager deck, because I'm really loving them right now. Hadn't used them for many years, but just recently got back into them. And they were always the cards that I used to use when I used to do spiritual festivals around Australia. Anyway, I'm back into them now, and I've pulled three cards for us. So just before I go on, if you don't know who I am, my name is Karen Turpin from KarenTurpin.com. I'm a spiritual coach. I've been a teacher, a healer of all things metaphysical for 25 years. But I actually do specialize in Starseed and Lightworker empowerment and activation. So here we go with the first card, which is balance. Everything in life is about balance. When things get wildly out of balance, something usually happens to knock it back in to balance. It's a little bit like this seesawing action sometimes, but I feel definitely on the planet at the moment with this ending of this 26,500 year cycle and this moving into the new era, the new epoch of time. We're overdue actually to come back into balance because the world is really out of balance. You know, the balance of power is really beginning to shift. And personally, I feel that for the longest time on this planet, we have been in a really dark age. We've been in the darkness, and now we're beginning to move back into the age of light. Of course, that's what it's always been known as, this age of Aquarius that we've moved into. If you look at hidden Earth history of this planet, you'll see that we have been in the dark for the longest time. But anyway, I see the balance is beginning to shift to balance out, I should say, the power. And we can see this in politics right now, that shift from the dark to the light. We can see this in astrology, though I'm not an astrologer. I do occasionally read some people's work. But, you know, you can just personally, I can feel this shift of power that's beginning to happen um, through this planet, even through our solar system and everything. And this is a huge force on our planet. There's not much that you and I can do about it individually as physical beings, other than using the power of our consciousness. And that is a mighty force, particularly if we could all come together and, you know, for the greater good and actually focus on something that is of good. And this, in a sense, is where our trust needs to come in. Trust in the power of the universe, trust in source, and trust in God that we will come through this dark time, this very chaotic time that we're in currently. And so I loved it when I picked the next card, which is actually trust. Now, the thing is that because of the power of our consciousness, when we repeatedly focus on the dark, on all the terrible things that could happen, on all of the dark agenda that we see being rolled out around the world, at warp speed. When we focus on all of that darkness, to me, that's darkness, the way that they're rolling out this agenda and hiding it again from most people, apart from the awake ones like you and I. But, you know, this is a very dark agenda that they're rolling out. They're hiding behind a lot of lies and manipulations. They're not being truthful. But thankfully, as I said, we're moving into an age of light. And this trust card is a beautiful card because it has a lot of, you probably can't see it on the screen, but has a lot of little candles on there shining the light, showing us the light, leading the path to the light. And also on that card, there are a lot of images that would suggest to you trust in the universe, trust that everything will be okay. And if we can take the power of our consciousness and focus it on the light, we can build up a huge force of hope and light and positivity and goodness. And then, with that collective coming together and focusing on the positive, we build energy into that. If we could take the time to vision the beautiful life that we all want to live here on this beautiful planet, that Mother Nature can bring back into balance if we stop certain people manipulating it with genetically modified things and doing things to the atmosphere that are going to change the balance dramatically in a way that we may not be able to come back from. If we could stop all of that by focusing on the universe, on the God, on the source, and trusting that with our collective power and consciousness that we can be a part of bringing everything back into balance, into love, and letting Mother Earth just come back into her fullness with the power of our love and open heart, focusing on that, not focusing on all the dark stuff all the time. It's good to be aware of it so that we can amplify our efforts to bring balance again back into the age of light. But we have the power to create the life, the beautiful paradise on light, on this earth that we all dream of. So that's where we need to put our collective consciousness into that, most definitely. Anyway, then here's the third card, which is the Lovers. It's another beautiful card. This card shows us that balance has been restored. The Lovers coming into union, the balance of day and night, of light and dark, of masculine and feminine coming into union, unity, bringing about that unity consciousness that we've been moving into, the union of opposite forces creating wholeness and oneness. But this card also invites us to get comfortable with making decisions, changes, and making decisions, making difficult choices sometimes, as there is in every relationship. So it says it can be a confusing time still. We have to be careful with our choices and our decisions. And when we're in that place of making life-changing decisions, it can feel really chaotic. We can feel way out of balance. And so we know that out of chaos comes clarity. So it's really important to go through this stage of asking the deep inner questions. It's also worth remembering that this card, the Lover's card, the shadow side of this card is codependence, in which you become a prisoner within a dysfunctional relationship and you don't even know that you're there. So I would ask, are we actually in the dysfunctional relationship already? And we can't see it. So I'm not looking at the micro level in terms of your personal relationship with your significant other, but I'm looking at, are we in a dysfunctional relationship on this planet? Um, Maybe we don't even realize that we are. And so some questions to ask yourself might be, is this what freedom looks like? The life we currently have on this planet, is this what freedom looks like? What are our limitations to our life currently? Are we free to express ourselves fully, or are we censored and limited in some way? And the most important question, I think, is what about the freedom, sovereignty, and liberation that is our birthright? Where does that stack up currently on this planet? And so, depending on how you answer those questions, if that's where we currently are, if we are suppressed, censored, limited, if we don't have our freedom, sovereignty, or liberation, is that not an indication that we are completely in a dysfunctional relationship, that we actually are a prisoner within a relationship maybe we didn't notice. And then we would ask, who actually are we in relationship with? Are we in relationship with the dark or the light? Who is our controller? Who are we aligning ourselves to? And if we were to shift and come more into alignment with source light or the universal God, could we shift that balance so that we actually step into what is our birthright and actually get to experience freedom, sovereignty, and liberation upon this planet? And actually, personally, I feel that that's what we all should be experiencing on planet, particularly now as we move into this new era, this new age of light. I see this balance beginning to shift away from the dark powers that have been holding us, and as we move into the age of light, certainly back into balance with ourselves, with the planet, with life. And so that's what these three cards brought up for me today. When I look at the three cards, there's a little story there of imbalance and trust in God, the universe, source, trust in ourselves to make the right decisions for us so that we can move into that beautiful relationship of unity and wholeness and oneness. And that's where I see the energy on the planet for us this week. So, asking yourself those very important questions: where is your freedom, sovereignty, your liberation? Do you have it right now? Can you focus upon bringing more and more light onto the planet so that we all get to experience that, which is our birthright? So, anyway, that's how I see the energy this week on planet. I hope that's given you a few things to consider and to think about. And in the meantime, I would encourage you to focus all of your consciousness towards positivity, hope, love, freedom, sovereignty, and liberation for all. So I hope you found this useful. If you would like to hear more from me, make sure that you visit my website, karenturpin.com. Sign up for my blogs, my blog posts, my email newsletters. You can find me on Instagram as Karen Turpin, Spiritual Coach. I have a beautiful Facebook group here on Facebook called Source Light Connection. You'd be very welcome to join that. And of course, I also have a membership program called Aligned and Unlimited. And that's a beautiful community of people coming together, all focused on love and unity. So I do hope that I'll see you again very soon. If not, I will see you here next week. Same time, same place. Have a great week. Bye for now.